Today's episode is sponsored by Loni Shaw. Hello and welcome back to Film Pro Productivity and Success, the podcast that helps film professionals and other creative people to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and this is episode 73, Using SWOT Analysis. In most cases, strengths and weaknesses are two sides of the same coin. A strength in one situation is a weakness in another. Yet often the person can't switch gears. It's a very subtle thing to talk about strengths and weaknesses because almost always they are the same thing. Steve Jobs, unquote. I don't like to do this, but I'm going to come straight in here with a definition of SWOT analysis. That's S-W-O-T analysis from Wikipedia. It explains that SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique used to help a person or organisation identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. It is most often used in relation to business competition or project planning. This technique is designed for use in the preliminary stages of decision-making processes and can be used as a tool for evaluation of your strategies. It is intended to specify objectives of the business venture or project and identify the internal and external factors that are favourable and unfavourable to achieving those objectives. Users of a SWOT analysis often ask and answer questions to generate meaningful information for each category to identify their competitive advantage. SWOT has been described as the tried and true tool of strategic analysis, but has also been criticised for its limitations. So I wanted to introduce you to this system, this SWOT analysis system, as it's a very powerful productivity tool that has been in use in the business world since the 1970s. I'm sure that many of you will have heard of it, in fact, but do you use it or do you even know what it means? Well, I'll go into that in detail today, but by analysing yourself, your project or your organisation, your career, etc., you will be able to intelligently create informed and actionable plans with which to move forward. SWOT is an effective method for identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats that you might face as you proceed. As I say, that is where the acronym, like in the last episode, where we had, what was the last episode again? Where we had SMART goal setting. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In order to classify factors under these four categories, though, you will need to ask SWOT analysis questions. But these are not just any questions. You have to ask good SWOT analysis questions, which are all related to the item that you are analysing. And it sounds easy. You just need to list the strengths and weaknesses that you have. You also identify the opportunities and the threats. But what are the things that which you classify as strengths and weaknesses? What scenarios could be called a threat? Which one is an opportunity for you or for your business? To do all of these, you really, really do need to ask the right analysis questions, and that requires a bit of thought. S in the acronym stands for strengths, and these describe what you excel at and what separate you from the competition. And you need to ask the right questions to identify all of your strengths, and these might include: what are your unique abilities? What is unique about you? And I'm talking about uniqueness here, as I find, having spent 25 years in this world, that uniqueness is what will bring individuals that work in the creative world's success. The people that stand out are the people who've got something unique about them and aren't just copying others. Anyway, I'm getting sidelined already. Other questions you might ask are: what are your two strongest skills? What are your assets? Which one of those assets is the strongest? What makes you better than your competitors? Do you have a strong customer base, or as a freelancer, do you have regular clients? What are the things that other people say you do well? What are the advantages you have over your rivals? These questions, and ones like them, will help you to build a list of strengths. And W in the acronym stands for weaknesses. These are the things that will stop you from performing at your optimum level. These are areas where you need to improve to remain competitive, or which are hindering you from moving in the direction you have set out for yourself. SWOT analysis questions relating to weaknesses could be: what areas do you need improvement in? Are you lacking in knowledge in some way? Are you not skilled enough? Do you have enough money to get what you want? Are you making enough profit? Is your competitor running miles ahead of you? What are the things you need to avoid? What areas do your competitors have an advantage in? I'll add to that, if a competitor knows about your weaknesses, then they are possibly going to base their strategy on your weaknesses, so you might want to try and hide them. O stands for opportunities. And yeah, SWOT is not SWAT, it is SWOT. O in SWOT stands for opportunities. Favourable external factors that could give you an advantage. And these tend to be external factors out with your control, whereas strengths and weaknesses are really internal things that you can control. Questions for opportunities might include: what external changes will bring your opportunities? Can you provide something that is not already on offer, or that is rarely available, or has a limited quantity available? Can you turn your bad luck into good and take advantage of a negative situation? The COVID-19 situation has been a bummer for most of us in the industry, but I can assure you that others out there will have benefited from it. Is someone looking for what you are offering? Can you get it to them? Can you talk to them? Can you get in front of them? These are potential opportunities. And finally, in SWOT, we have T, which stands for threats. These are factors that could potentially harm you. And just like opportunities, threats are also beyond your control, and they are going to prevent you from making the most of your resources. Your strategies will fail due to these. Threats are basically situations that you need to avoid, and if you can't avoid it, you must at least look to minimise their efforts. Examples of threats could be: what are the obstacles that you are facing in the current mission, the current project? Or what are the negative aspects in the current market? Are there potential competitors who can give you competition in the future? Do you see a change coming? Are new government regulations going to affect you? Will political instability hurt you? If one of your regular employers goes down, will you be able to actually pay your bills? Are you working with the wrong people? Do you have negative people in your life? Look back at my episodes on toxic people and time wasters if you do have negative people in your life, because getting rid of them will change your life. These are just examples, but without the right questions tailored to your specific situation, your business or project, you could find that you are wasting your time with them. The tougher and more honest questions that you can ask yourself, the more reliable SWOT analysis that you will do. And don't be afraid to ask others for help in this. Sometimes when you're standing so close to things, you just can't see the wood for the trees. Also, make sure that you are clear on what your purpose is with this. Having a clear idea of why you are doing it will make it easier for you to ask the right questions. Wikipedia also listed the limitations and alternatives to the system as follows. SWOT is intended as a starting point for discussion and cannot in itself show you how to achieve a competitive advantage, particularly in a rapidly changing environment. Some have critiqued hastily designed SWOT lists, and I'd add to something I have discussed in an earlier show: analysis paralysis, which is an anti-pattern, the state of over-analysing or overthinking a situation so that a decision or action is never taken, in effect paralysing the outcome. A person experiencing analysis paralysis gets so lost in the process of analysing and evaluating the various data needed to make a decision that they become unable to act. And to explain this a little bit more simply, think of the fable, if you know it, about the fox and the cat. In that story, the two animals discuss how many ways they have to escape their hunters. The fox boasts of having many. The cat, however, admits to having only one. When the hunters finally arrive, the cat quickly climbs a tree. The fox, on the other hand, begins to analyse all the ways to escape that he knows, but unable to decide which one would be the best. He fails to act and gets caught by the dogs. So there you have it. With the answers that you discover via SWOT analysis, you will more easily pinpoint where to improve and where to act. It's a great way to guide your actions and put you in touch with the stuff that really matters. SWOT analysis can be done on a project-by-project basis, and it's often done in teams working towards the goals of a business. Once you've got the answers, you can define and develop coordinated, goal-directed actions which underpin your key objectives and give you real direction. Analysis paralysis will occur only when you overthink and underwork. So remember well the tale of the cat and the fox, and don't get too hung up on it. Thanks for joining me here today again and investing in yourself once again. If you have enjoyed the show, I would be very, very grateful if you would take the time, please, to leave a rating or a review perhaps on whatever app that you listen to your podcasts on. That's the one thing that really makes a difference to podcast listener numbers and bumps the show up in the rankings at the same time. I really appreciate your taking the time to listen to what I've got to say here, whether you're a long-time follower of the podcast or this is your first time hearing what I have got to say. And I'd also like to give a big shout out to Loni, who has sponsored today's episode, and thank you all, obviously, to all the sponsors of the show. I'll speak about them all in the last episode of the season. But I've known Loni for a few years online, and she's always been incredibly supportive. So thanks, Loni, for coming on board and helping to make this one possible. In the next episode, I'll be talking about why we must get comfortable being uncomfortable to gain the success that we are seeking. And I have to say, I think it's a really important episode, that one next week, because a lot of us, I think, find it difficult to deal with unpleasant situations or have difficult conversations, and getting comfortable being uncomfortable with those sort of things, I think, is crucial if you're going to be successful. So don't miss it. It is an important one. Check it out next week. Let me end today with some words from Aldous Huxley, who pointed out that facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Now take control of your own destiny. Keep on shooting, and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity and Success. The music that you can hear right now is Adventures by Himitsu. You can view the show notes for this episode on the official website, only on the official website where you see the full show notes, and it's filmproproductivity.com. Please follow my personal accounts on Twitter and Instagram at fight_director, or follow the show at on Twitter even, at FilmProProdPod, or on Facebook at FilmProProductivity. Please continue to support the show by subscribing, spreading the word, and leaving an awesome review.